All right, welcome back to the Perfect Season podcast. It's one of your co-hosts, Antonio. Today we're joined with the Frozen Pirate Podcast, going over Bucs free agency and what the winners are, losers, etc. Some surprises. But first off, let's introduce yourself. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's going on, guys? I'm Louis. I am one of the hosts of the Frozen Pirate Podcast. Been a lifelong Buccaneers fan since 1995. Yes, I do live in Massachusetts. Could have took the easy route and been a Patriots fan, but diehard Bucs fan, man. Ever since '95, grew up watching college football as a kid, and I seen guys like Derek Brooks from Florida State Seminoles and Warren Sapp with the Miami Hurricanes. And they both got drafted to the Bucs in '95, and it was a wrap. And I became a fan ever since.
All right.
So,
So basically, let's start off just by saying who some of the new Bucks are that they've signed this free agency. Yes, before free agency, they were 55 million over the cap, but with a bunch of cuts and different contract extensions and contract negotiations, we got under the 55 million, under the cap. But the first free agent we brought in was running back Chase Edmonds from Denver. Now, I haven't really heard much about him, but I feel like he's going to be a good fit in our system because knowing Tampa going into the draft also, they're looking at possibly filling another hole and looking at running back. It could be round one, two, or three, but it's going to be a good tandem with Rashad White.
um, my personal opinion on that is I'm okay with the signing because I said that this year, like you just
Yeah.
said, it's a budget year for them. It's
Mm.
going to be a lot of, 1 year deals. It reminds me a lot of, when Bruce Arians first came here. You remember
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
2019? It's the same process,
It's a rebuilding year.
Yeah, as much as Bowles doesn't want to say it is, it
Mm.
is. It's a building block. Yeah, you like. But as far as Chase Edmond goes, I don't know too much about him. I know he played with Denver.
Yeah.
I know he's got some wheels on him. I know he's pretty
Mm.
quick, and I know a guy like Dave Canales really likes that. I
Yeah.
would have preferred a guy like Rashad Penny,
Yeah.
um, but unfortunately, he got signed. I think it's a decent signing. I give it like a C.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say maybe C minus C, but
yeah,
it's probably just a depth signing, like in every third down
exactly.
back.
Yeah,
And
like
then
they go ahead.
going into our next signing, the defensive lineman Greg Gaines out of LA, formerly teammates with Vita Vey out of Washington.
Yep,
But I like this signing, probably another depth signing for the defensive line. But
absolutely.
just another depth signing. I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa took a defensive lineman in the draft and going into the draft later on. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do at 19.
Like I said on my podcast, 19 is a tough position to
Yeah.
be in, especially with the cap situation. But as far as Greg Gaines goes, I give this signing an A.
Yeah.
Um, he's one of those that's going to be flying under the radar for a little bit as far as a signing goes, just
Yeah.
because it creates depth. And I said, in order for this defense to work, they need to build around Vita Vea. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? They have
Yeah.
to build around Vita Vea. They need to get him some help on the line because when it comes to winning a football game, the two most important aspects of football is your offensive line and defensive line. And you can see right off the rip when you watch a football game, the line that's getting the most push
Yeah.
usually determines the game. So, if you look back into those old Buccaneer defenses, Warren Sapp, it took two guys to block Warren Sapp. It's very
Right.
similar right now with Vita Vea. So with Greg Gaines being there, them having history together at Washington,
Yeah.
like I think this is an
That's a
A
great
signing.
signing.
Absolutely, and we got very lucky with that.
Oh yeah.
And it's part of the process of retooling this defense because this defense still needs a lot of help.
Yeah.
I
I
do.
would especially say look in later rounds, look at linebacker, safety, corner, losing
Yeah,
Sean Murphy Bunting. That's a big
I
thing.
you think so? I mean, with Sean Murphy Bunting, for me, I think he kind of underachieved this year. I understand he was kind of hurt,
Yeah.
banged up a little bit, but I'm okay with him walking away. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean, he was
It's a
good.
win-lose situation.
Yeah. We weren't going to re sign everybody to begin with. A lot of
Yeah.
these guys, too, they kind of want to after that big Super Bowl year, and
Yeah.
a lot of these guys, they want to go out and kind of make a name for themselves. So I think a guy like Sean Murphy Bunting going to Tennessee is great for Tennessee.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
And then next free agency signing, I think you know where I'm going with this. This is definitely going to be one of the most. It caught me off guard at first. Baker Mayfield coming to Tampa. Now,
Yeah.
Baker's been like an up and down roller coaster kind of guy.
Yes.
Like I've always been on the path of saying Kyle Trask, let him build, see what he can do. You can't just waste a
Let him
pick.
do his thing. Yeah.
Let him do his thing because look at quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, Drew Brees for crying out loud, Brady. He learned behind Brady for 2 years. And you got to let him learn this offense before you can say, go out and just take over. It's his third year. I think the third year is a prove it year. Like, I think
Yeah.
even though he went to Florida and a lot of Bucs fans are FSU fans, but
Oh yeah.
I'm neither. I'm not
Yeah.
an FSU fan. I'm not a UF fan, but I'm all in. Let's see what he has. Because looking at his college stats were better than Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow turned out to be the better quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. So I agree with everything you just said. I'm on the Trask train.
Yeah,
I
me
said
too.
I said he needed competition though.
Mhm.
I didn't want Baker Mayfield. To be honest with you, I think they should
Yeah,
have went after a guy like Drew Lock, who knows
I
Dave
would I would have
Canales'
been okay
system.
with
Yeah,
I would have been okay with Drew Lock,
yeah,
Baker, even even a Mike White kind of quarterback.
yeah. I mean, the thing, and I'm going to take a little time with this one because I want
Yeah,
all the Buccaneer fans out there to understand this. Um, you drafted a quarterback in the second round.
yeah. You don't just waste a second round pick
Yeah,
on him.
exactly. So it's just like I'm not, and I've said this on my podcast numerous times. I say this all the time. When it comes to Kyle Trask, if you look at his stats, I don't have them in front of me, but if you look at his stats his last year
Yeah.
in college, they were phenomenal. The
Oh
kid
yeah.
did pretty good. Um, so I'm not saying, hey, this kid's going to be the next Tom Brady or whatever, but you have to give this kid a chance. He
Hmm.
sat 2 years behind Brady.
And
Um,
Gafford.
yeah, like that. I know there was a lot of like heat on him at first, his rookie year. They're like, oh, if
Yeah.
he was that good, he should have been the backup.
Right.
Well, what is he going to show Tom Brady on that tablet that Tom Brady doesn't see?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then the
Yeah. It's
second
like,
year, people are crazy. And then the second year was the same thing. Like he did what he was supposed to do. He sat for
mhm.
2 years, he observed, he learned,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying he's going to go out there and play just like Brady. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is those 2 years that he sat, he got to pick Tom Brady's brain. Like,
Yeah.
ask questions like how to prepare throughout the week. He's seeing how Brady prepares
Mhm.
throughout the week. He's asked, he's seeing, hey, well, how can you tell this with the safeties, this and that? And
Yeah.
Brady's explaining all that stuff. He's gonna put it all together and do it on his own. I think if they can build a good offensive line in front of him, I think Trask could be a starter for many years to
Yeah.
come. I do know for a fact with Baker and Trask, I'm actually growing on the idea of Baker Mayfield because
Yeah.
I think Baker still has a lot of upside in his career. The thing that I don't like about the signing with Baker is that he was doing an interview with 95.3 WDAE,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you heard it with him and T Crass.
I
He
listen to them
actually
from time to time.
yeah, like T Crass was asking him some questions, and
Yeah.
he just came off very cocky. Just
Yeah.
like T Crass hit him with the hard hitting question, like, sell me on why we think you should be the guy here. Da, da, da. And
Mm.
he just comes off and says, well, I don't need to sell anybody on anything. I am who I am. And I don't like answers like that. I
Yeah.
think he needs to humble himself because, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. We don't need him. He needs us. We
Yeah.
have Mike Evans. We have Chris Godwin. We have Russell Gage. We have, K. Dot and O'Keefe. We have Rashad White, Keyshawn Vaughn. That's another
Yeah.
running back that nobody's really talking about who I
Yeah.
think has a good
Because
upside for us.
he didn't have that good of a rookie season, but
Yeah. I mean, but
it's
still,
gonna
like,
be interesting to see what
yeah.
happens.
Do I think Baker could command this offense? Yeah, but I think he needs to humble himself a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think the guys like Evans and Godwin are gonna correct that for him.
Yeah.
Do I think we're gonna see both of the gentlemen start? Absolutely.
Someone has
One
to
of the
start week 1.
yeah. So my opinion too is one of these two guys is the future quarterback for the Bucs
Yeah.
going forward. I will say that. As far as the signing goes of Baker, I mean, like I said, I think they could have saved a little bit of money there and signed a guy like Drew Lock or somebody. But I'm not the GM.
It
Just a
is what
fan.
it is, but yeah,
Exactly.
just a fan. So going into this next one, it's one of the special teams positions, kicker Chase McLaughlin from the Colts. I heard he's good, he's not good, he's average. You see, I was
Yeah.
always on the Ryan suck up support. I say
Yes.
I'm a fan of everyone. I say if they're
Mhm.
doing good, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
That's how I am. Like I don't write off one person after one bad game. But I was reading, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his stats were like 20 of 26 from outside of
Yes.
50 outside of
Yeah.
50 yards. But the Bucs have always had a kicking curse. Roberto
Absolutely.
Aguayo. I remember
Don't don't mention
don't
that name no more.
no.
Don't mention that
I
name.
would have never wasted a second round pick on him.
No, absolutely not.
No one from that draft class is on the team anymore.
No. Unfortunately, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah. This is a gamble pick, I think.
Yeah. Um. So with him, I like to suck up a lot too.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was a cap issue move.
exactly. That's what it came down to. I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it is what it is. Like I said, building block year, budget year.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. He was 20 of 26.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I mean,
Nobody's gonna make every kick.
yeah.
So I
You
mean,
make
as far
mistakes.
as
You win some, you lose some.
yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a budget signing. It's the best
Yeah.
I can describe it.
Yeah. Now going into our last free agency signing, the safety out of Seattle, Ryan Neal. Before we signed him, I did not know who he was, honest to God. Then after
Mhm.
we signed him, I was like, I like this player. Hard hitting safety, causes interceptions. You know, I'm starting to really like this dude, and I feel like with him, Jamel Dean, Carlton Davis, and hell, I know you brought this up on your podcast. If they draft Brian Branch out of Alabama, that is a lockdown secondary.
Yeah, I mean, it's a step in the right direction.
Hmm.
But going back to what I said with a 19th overall pick, it's a tough
19 is
situation.
19
It's
is tough because last time we had 19, we took OJ Howard.
yeah,
Should have
mm,
took Dalvin Cook.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. 19. So, my opinion, like I said, I don't think they can afford to move down.
No.
This is going to be for me. Well, for them, I think my prediction is this is going to be a very defensive draft heavy
Yeah.
for the Bucs. I do think they take an offensive lineman, but as far as Brian Branch goes,
If
I
he's there, I
pray.
think
Yeah,
if
you
he's
got to
there.
take him. He reminds me a lot of Mark Barron, a
Yeah.
better version of Mark Barron.
Oh, yeah, I 100% agree.
He can hit legally.
Yeah.
A lot of players have trouble with that, and it's tough. The rules are changing in the NFL. It's like, what's a catch, what's not a catch, what's a fumble, how do you
What
properly
pass
hit somebody?
interference, roughing the
Yeah,
passer?
that we can talk about that in a whole nother episode. We could
Oh,
take
yeah.
up a whole episode talking about that. I don't even know what a passing interference is anymore.
Right.
Apparently, if you touch the helmet the wrong way, it's a penalty. But
Yeah.
19 is a tough pick. I mean, do I think Brian Branch is going to be there? I don't know, man. That's tough. But again, he's a guy that I would like for the Bucs to grab.
Yeah.
Ryan Neal was a solid signing.
I like that.
It's a great signing because not only can he jump off from on the outside and blitz, which I love because you
Yeah.
need that. But he's an all around good verse. He knows where the ball is.
Yeah.
He doesn't take plays off. And I'm surprised Seattle let him go. But he's a great replacement for Mike Edwards. Do I think he's a starter? It's yet to be determined. But the
Yeah.
Buccaneers like to rotate their safeties a
Yeah.
lot, if you notice. So I agree. I give that a solid B plus.
I
As
give it
far
a
as
B
like,
plus A minus kind of
yeah,
signing.
he could be here for the long haul. It could be a contract year for him, a
Yeah.
prove it year. So, but
That's what I
Brian
like about some
Branch,
of these players.
yeah, I
Prove it
mean,
year,
see
you
what
gotta go
happens.
out and earn it. Yeah.
Yeah, like the salary cap is only going to go up higher from
Yeah.
this year, next year because the YouTube TV deals it's going to go up
Yeah.
by like 20 million or so. But I mean, like I said, if Brian Branch is there, you got to take him. Because
Mm,
like I said, comparing him to Mark Barron, he can hit, he can come in and play linebacker, like he can blitz. He's an all around great player on
yeah.
defense, and
Let
Todd Bowles' defense is built around the safety.
yeah.
So we'll see what
Let me
happens.
ask you this then. If Brian Branch and Bijan Robinson are there, who you taking?
I'm taking Brian Branch. You don't take running backs in the first round.
That's true. Just like how
Yeah,
Dalvin Cook fell.
yeah. It's
I've
it's just
been lately. I've been on the Brian Branch or Bijan Robinson, either
yeah.
or. But I think if we're gonna get into a little bit of the draft, if Brian Branch isn't there, but a lower level good defensive end is there, Miles Murphy out of Clemson. Not just
I
saying
like
that because
him.
I'm a Clemson fan, but
Okay.
he's hard hitting. He can attack the quarterback fast. Great all around defensive end. If
He's a
he's there,
big
I
boy
feel like
too.
Tampa. Yeah, him, Greg Gaines, Vita Vea on the line, and Golston.
Yeah.
That would be a great line.
Well, I mean, like I said, I don't know if he's gonna be there, man.
Yeah,
Like I said, a lot of these guys that the Bucks desperately need, it's tough.
yeah.
Like going back to that 19th overall pick, dude, it's a
It's a
tough one.
good yeah because you can either trade up or down. And
Yeah.
I've been reading trading up a little bit, trading down. Like I've been hearing some rumors about possibly trading to like top 15 to take Levis. Now I'm
Hmm.
not sold on Levis. Yes, he has a strong
Hmm.
arm,
Yeah.
but you know who also had a strong arm at the pro day? Zach Wilson. And look at
You
where he
know,
is with the Jets.
you know who else had a strong arm too?
Who?
Jamarcus Russell. Remember
I'm
him?
also a Raider fan.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
That's an episode for another day.
yeah, you know very well then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
I know very well.
um,
But
like I mean, it's like I said, I don't. So the two main things that I don't think the Bucks should do is take a quarterback in the first round or a
no,
running back. I
I've been
defense, man. They got to go after defense or offensive linemen.
yeah
Um,
with also Donovan Smith cutting him. That
got to
was
replace him.
that that was a huge cap cut. I was like when they drafted him, I was like, let's see what he can do. But
Yeah.
when I was there at the Bengals game this past year, and I was also
Okay.
there for my 21st birthday at the playoff game.
Yeah.
So many holding penalties, so many. It just cost them.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to remember the time when the Bucks didn't have a kicker and they were missing, extra
Yeah,
points, little things
yeah,
like that cost you the game.
yeah.
That was a tough game to watch, man, as a
It
Bucks
was
fan.
tough to be there.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. Like that was a tough game to watch on TV.
Yeah.
Just because of the simple fact that Donovan Smith was never like that. I mean, occasionally he'd have holding penalties, but it wasn't
Now, if
like
Donovan,
this bad.
yeah, if it was like once in a blue moon, that's a different story. But
Yeah.
every single drive,
Yeah, it cost us big time.
yeah, cost
Big
us
time.
very big time.
You
Because
know,
those first two drives, it was like electric and so much energy was going on. And then we were converting and going down the field. And then holding penalty. Holding after holding, four and out, four and out, four and out. It sucked.
yeah, I mean it's you can't have that anymore, and that's why I
Yeah.
said you can never go wrong drafting an offensive lineman. Like a lot of people didn't want Tristan Wirfs that year. Everybody.
I remember that year. I was between Tristan Wirfs and who did the Browns take that year? That offensive
Um,
tackle out of Alabama.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that
But
up. Let me see something.
it was between those two players and I after I seen some of Tristan Wirfs highlights, I was like, this dude's a beast.
Yeah. I mean,
And
when they drafted him, I was pumped. I was like, this is
yeah,
the best pick. Like, they're not the
yeah.
sexy picks because
No,
everybody
it's
wants the stars, the star
everyone
power.
wants like going into this year's draft, you want the Bryce Youngs, the CJ Strouds. I think a gamble pick is Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he's not. I mean,
He's not first round quality.
no,
He's not NFL ready.
I think,
I was at the game against USF,
yep.
just going to a game to go to a game. Like local team has a root for down here, but he was not well prepared for that game. I'll tell you that
I'm,
right now.
I mean, like I said, a guy like him, I believe should go to a team that has like a perfect fit for someone like him would be like the Seahawks,
Yeah, I've been here in
behind.
Seattle.
Um,
I've been here in Indy.
and, I don't know. I think Indy's gonna try
I
and get
feel I feel
one
like
of
Indy's
those.
gonna take Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, but even like a team like the Steelers could be a dark
That's
horse
the I
for a guy
mean,
like,
I want
you
to see
know.
Kenny Pickett another year, see if he can. Kenny Pickett's another Kyle Trask kind of person, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
I
But going
mean,
into the re-signed players of who we re-signed this year, I think this is the biggest one. Levante David signed a 1 year
absolutely.
deal. I think after this year, I think he retires, hangs the cleats. He retires a Buck, had a great year last year, great career. I've
Hmm.
been watching him since I was a youngin. He won his
Yeah, yeah.
Super
How
Bowl
old?
ring. I'm
21, right?
21.
I'm
21.
35, man, and I
Yeah.
seen some really good Buck teams, and I seen a lot of bad Buck teams. I seen
I've
a lot
been
of
like when I tell people I'm a Bucks fan, they're like, "Oh, you're a fan because of Brady."
yeah.
No, my first jersey was a Michael Stott jersey. I
Oh
would
wow.
in every Friday for in my elementary school we were allowed to wear like whatever. I wore that Michael Stott jersey till the numbers wore off.
Yeah, my first jersey, actually, I'm gonna post it on a Throwback Thursday. So when
Okay,
I was in sixth grade, it was a Warwick Dunn
I
jersey.
remember him.
Yeah, still to this day breaks my heart that the Bucks got rid of him, and that's
Hmm.
another that's for another time.
Yeah,
But no, so going back to what I said with the age there, I see a guy like Derek Brooks in his heyday just
I have his
lighting people
cream.
up.
That was the creamsicle jersey that I just bought actually.
I have his creamsicle.
Yeah,
Um, and just watching it, so Levante David reminds me so much of Derek Brooks because Derek Brooks passed the torch to
yeah,
Levante, if you remember. Um, and Levante
and
David ran with it and
yeah.
has done a phenomenal job. He's
Hmm.
just, I wouldn't say he's just as great as Derek Brooks. Actually, you know what? He got the title. I mean, he's been so underrated.
Yeah.
Even like I said, living in Massachusetts, being a diehard Bucks fan, nobody knew about Levante David. I used to be
No.
like, you people are crazy.
He's I'll tell people like you see NFL going out posting top five linebackers. You never see Levante David.
Nope. It's a shame.
He's the most underrated linebacker there is.
It's the same as Mike Evans. Like
Yeah.
I at the barbershop, I had somebody try telling me that Odell Beckham is better than Mike Evans.
No.
I'm like, there's
Well,
no
like
comparison.
there's no comparison to that because I tell people Evans has had 9 or 10 straight seasons of 1,000 yard receiving.
And look at the
Yes, he's
quarterbacks.
yeah, look at the quarterbacks. Brady, sadly Jameis. I was never a Jameis fan.
Me neither.
And
I wanted
people, I
Mariota that year.
same here, same here. I wanted Mariota, or you remember who was in that draft? Not in the league anymore. Todd Gurley.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
watching that draft, and I was like, really, Jameis? Out of
Yeah.
all anyone there was, Mariota was the better quarterback. Yes,
Absolutely.
he did take the Titans to the playoffs, but
Yeah.
they're and it's just like the argument I tell people, Jameis, yes, he had 30 for 30, but off the field issues.
Hmm.
When he went to the Saints, he went into the playoffs, yeah, but he had a stacked team around him, and I hate the Saints.
You want to hear a crazy rumor from that year that they drafted
Jameis,
Jameis?
what
Yeah.
was it?
So apparently, because Chip Kelly was the coach of the Eagles,
Yeah,
supposedly, what ended up happening was the Eagles offered them like a king's ransom for that number one overall
yeah,
pick because he wanted Mariota because he
oh yeah,
coached Mariota.
yeah,
I think it was like six players and like I think like 4 or 5 draft picks, and like I
mhm,
believe like two of them were first round picks,
yeah.
and the Bucks said no.
Uh, the number one pick is the most valuable pick. It sets the tone of the
Absolutely,
draft, and
absolutely.
like
I don't
I've
agree with
been
trading your picks.
I've been
No,
hearing when the Bucks were like, "Oh, what are we gonna do in free agency?" So, on the Pat and Aaron show, I don't know if you listened to them,
I did.
but they're hilarious. But
Yeah,
someone brought up the fact, what if you bring back Jameis? I'm not a fan of bringing back Jameis,
I don't know
and
why
like
people still talk about it.
everyone's like, oh, someone said when we first signed Brady, they were like, oh, have re-sign Jameis to a 2-year deal, have him learn behind Brady, and then let Jameis be your starter. I was like, no, Jameis is not starter quality.
This moment will forever live rent free in my head when he was eating his fingers on the
Yeah,
sideline talking about eating a W. If you look at like Deshaun Jackson,
yeah.
looking at him was like, what the hell? And then like
He's.
Quan was like, yo, yeah,
I was
like
a Quan Alexander
I
fan.
loved Quan. The problem with Quan was he got hurt too much.
Yeah,
It would be scary to see. Well, unfortunately, the Buccaneers swapped
yeah.
defenses. They went from a 4-3 attacking 4-3 to a now a blitzing 3-4.
Mhm.
So Quan wouldn't have fit in the system because you
No,
can't
yeah.
have three middle linebackers with
Now,
Devin White,
if you were
Levante.
still, if they were still a 4-3, imagine Quan, Devin White, and Levante David.
That'd be a hell of a
That would
hell
be
of a linebacker.
hell of a linebacking core.
Oh yeah, you got the
But
quickness there.
yeah, I mean, I've been a fan long enough to remember when Rondé was even on the team. And I
Rondé Barber, the
remember,
Iron Man.
yeah, I remember Jeff Garcia. I actually have a signed football by Jeff Garcia. And
I
then I
remember
have a
those days.
signed Vincent Jackson jersey.
Oh wow,
Like,
that's
yeah,
awesome. You got to frame that, my man. You got to
that
frame that.
it's in my closet right now. Like another episode, I can do jerseys because I'm a diehard Tampa everything.
Let me ask you a
Bucks, Rays,
question.
Bolts. Yeah,
How'd you feel about Gerald McCoy?
I was always a good fan of Gerald McCoy.
Yeah.
I went to a local middle school over here. He'd from
Mm,
time to time show up to the football games. Like my thing is, I like the player that plays well on the field, plays really good on the field, and then also gives back in the community.
yeah.
So like I know this podcast was supposed to be all Bugs, but diving into a little bit about the Lightning. I also work for them.
Oh
So
wow, that's awesome,
yeah,
dude.
I'm with Jeff Innick, one of the guest services attendants.
Oh
But
wow. My son, we went down
yeah,
there. So my girlfriend is not really a hockey fan.
yeah,
So we went down to Tampa. This is when they were playing the Islanders in the Eastern
yeah.
Conference Finals. I was
Okay.
trying to get, we drove down to Tampa. I drove 19 and a half hours
Crazy.
straight down there. Yeah, I know. About to do it again this
When
year.
are you going?
Uh, we are going for the we're going 4th of July week. I think
Okay.
we're leaving here. I don't even know. Oh, wow. I should know that.
Yeah.
Um, I forgot. I think we're leaving the 30th of June, which is
Okay.
a Thursday night. We're gonna drive straight down. We're gonna stay out
Yeah.
there for 11 days. But
Yeah.
the first
You'll
time,
love Tampa.
oh, we love. This is the
Yeah.
third time in 2 years going down
Okay.
there. I'm actually looking to buy a house down there for an
Yeah.
investment. But going back to the Lightning and the
Mm-hmm.
Islanders, so my son is at the time was 3.5,
Mm-hmm.
and so we actually got tickets when they were to New York to play them. We were inside Amalie Arena watching
Yeah.
it through the screen, which was a cool experience.
Oh yeah.
So
It's hands down for anyone, even if you're not into hockey, going there for a Lightning game or concert
yeah,
or anything. It's one of the best arenas.
absolutely. Like
Hands
in
down,
just
it's a top
oh,
five arena.
absolutely. And so out of all the kids that were there, they actually picked out my son
Yeah.
to ride on the little Zamboni.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And from that moment forward, like when my girlfriend seen our son on the Zamboni, like
Yeah.
she teared up. Ever since then, she just became a Lightning fan. And
Yeah.
that
And
was
like
that was huge for me. I was just like, hey, this is a team I grew up watching. I wasn't too
you
crazy about
weren't,
them,
yeah.
but as now that I got older, I'm like a diehard Lightning fan.
And
Like,
even if y'all come down for one of the playoff games this year, or any of the games, because playoffs start after not this week, but in like
yeah,
2 weeks from there. And like I'm getting my girl into hockey also. Took her to a game, she loves it, etc. But
I'm gonna make a
we're
bold. Can I make a bold
yeah,
statement right
go
now?
ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna make a bold statement right now. So, living in Massachusetts, 45 minutes away from TD Bank,
Yeah,
where the
being a
where the
Bruins fan.
Bruins play.
Yeah. Oh, they hate us.
Listen to this. I
Yeah.
will say this, and I'm gonna catch a lot of heat for this from all the Massachusetts audience that I'm about to give you. The Lightning fans, us Lightning fans, are more diehard than the
Boston.
Boston
Oh yeah.
Bruins.
I'll
I'm
agree
telling
with
you
you on
right
that
now. I'm
because
telling you that right now.
one of the co-hosts is a Florida Panthers fan. I still give him
Oof.
grief about it. I know.
Oof.
And I give him grief. He has to actually edit this video. Sorry, Alex.
Sorry,
But
bud.
he's also a Dolphins fan, and then I have a Bengals fan on. Two Dolphin fans and a Bengals fan. We're trying to collab and do. It's been so busy, hectic lately, but and getting off topic, but being a Lightning fan, seeing since hell, since I was like young, single digit age.
Yeah,
Like I've been a fan from when they had St. Pete times form. So I've been a
yep.
lifelong fan, like diehard when Stamkos got drafted. But
That's many moons ago.
yes, many, many moments ago. I've been a fan forever. And when their original six teams come in, like the Rangers, the Bruins, even I don't know if they're original six. I have to look back on that. But Bruins, Detroit, Montreal,
Oh,
you see the Ranger fans who moved from New York to Tampa, they
Tampa.
have their Lightning stuff on underneath, and then you throw the Ranger stuff on. And when I worked against the Blackhawks a year and a half ago, I counted maybe 20 people mid-second period, take their Blackhawk stuff off, put it in a bag, and get Lightning stuff and become a fan.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
you'll see
That's
that.
pretty cool, man.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. Like,
And
and then like,
for anybody out there too who says that the Lightning, like Tampa, is not a real hockey town, you're out of your
Tampa,
minds.
Tampa is a
That's
hockey town.
like I said, living in Massachusetts, like I have an authentic Stamkos jersey, and you
Yeah.
should see the looks that I
Oh
get.
yeah,
Like first,
I
it's
went to the game up in Carolina just a couple weeks ago because I was touring Appalachian State, where most likely I'll be ending up for college. But the amount of looks that I got wearing my Lightning jersey in that arena. Yeah, they won for nothing, but we're not the kind of fans that are like rude and obnoxious. But after you got up 1-0, it started to kick in, and it was just
it
like
gets ugly.
it gets ugly. And then when the Lightning click, they click, and everyone's
Yeah,
been like trying to say, "Oh, yes, we lost 7-4 last night." But one, Sergey wasn't playing. He just had a child, but
yeah,
he was also at the Frozen Four, which I was at last night. Great win for Quinnipiac, whatever the school is. But
yeah.
and then Tanner Janot just saw a doctor, so you don't know what his injury is.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I'm a little.
once they get healthy, and once this team clicks, there's no stopping them. Yes,
Yeah,
they've been playing up and down hockey, but I've been a fan of this team for so long. Same with the Bucs and same with the Rays. Once you get on your losing streaks, but last year got on the same losing streak, and then you click it in, and they're going to play well in the playoffs. I have faith.
yes. I mean, I have a lot of faith in the Lightning this year. We've been spoiled as fans,
Oh yeah,
like
because
three Stanley Cup appearances. Yeah,
in 5 to 10 years from now, who knows what this team's going to look like? So,
exactly.
like we were spoiled as fans when Brady came to Tampa, out of all places.
I actually, before he even signed with the Buccaneers, before it was actually a thought, I
Yeah,
called it. You should have seen the looks I got for that. So
yeah.
I was at Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot,
What was that
against
like?
it. So if I can have a little bit of time, I'll tell you
Yeah,
on
go.
how. So Gillette Stadium is a tough place.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just as bad
it's a
as
nice stadium,
it
but
is. It's
tough
just as
place.
bad as Philly.
Oh
I will tell you
God,
that.
my
It's just
uncle's
as
a
bad as
Phillies
Philly.
fan.
Um, so it's just as bad as going to see the Eagles play the Bucs, if you will.
Yeah.
So Massachusetts, our weather is not good.
Oh
Like
no, it's like
when it's crap, it's crap. So that game was Aubrey, my girlfriend's very
yeah,
first game. And we were all the way at the top.
yeah.
It was raining and then the mist was coming
Oh
up.
yeah,
It was
so
a
it was
cool
probably like what, 50 degrees, 40 degrees?
31, felt like
Oh,
28.
oh yeah, so
Yeah.
you're freezing. You're there probably
Yeah.
4 or 5 layers.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I went in there wearing a neutral color, like black and
Yeah.
white Buccaneers hat. And everybody's like, why are you wearing a Bucs hat? I said, because I'm a fan. I said, and I'm just here to scout my future quarterback because if you guys lose this game, he's coming to Tampa. And I have video on my Snapchat I still save to this day.
Yeah.
Me and Aubrey driving to the game. We're having a few drinks, tailgating. And I'm
Got
like,
him.
what's up, everybody? Here to
Now,
scout my future quarterback.
which
And
Bucks jersey did you wear?
I did not wear a Bucks jersey
Okay, that's
because
fair. That's fair.
I didn't wear a Bucks jersey. I just wore my black and white Buccaneers
Yeah.
beanie, and so they lost that game. How
Mm.
ironic was it that Tom Brady's last pass as a Patriot was a pick six?
I remember
Jameis
that.
Winston, Jameis Winston's last
For
pass as a Buck was a pick six that
yeah,
year. And I rode that wave of
yeah,
Brady is coming to Tampa. I rode that wave and I kept on saying it and saying it. Everybody was like,
yeah,
you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy, man. This dude's coming to Tampa. If he wants to
yeah.
win another Super Bowl, he's got to come to Tampa. March
And to prove,
20th,
yeah, he
what
came to
happened?
Tampa.
Came to Tampa.
And
I
to
was at
prove,
that
I'm also
Patriots. Go ahead.
prove also I'm a lifelong fan. Up there in my like top shelf, that
Yep.
helmet signed by half the 2015 or 16 team. Evans was 2 years in the league. That football has a Jeff Garcia autograph and three others. This
Oh, wow.
hat signed by half the team also. Been
That's
to
awesome, dude.
a lot of training camp. Remember the training camp cards that they would hand out, like with
Yes.
the roster? Have all
Yes.
that.
Wow.
You know,
That's awesome, man.
yeah,
Like,
like I'm a lifelong. I've been through like I in school, like my best friend to death. He's a Falcons fan. He
oof.
always gives me grief for saying this. We can agree to hate the Saints. I hate the Saints with a
Oh, yeah.
passion.
I
I hate them
believe
even
me.
more because they stole Derek. If Derek Carr was a free agent still, would you want him in Tampa?
So, no, no.
Why would you say that?
Just because I don't think he's built for this team.
I
I
mean,
do.
it is what it is, but
Yeah. I just think that if he was that damn good,
it's the coaching
Josh
over there in
McDaniels.
Vegas.
You think so?
It's
I
coaching. It was never. It wasn't Derek Carr
I
because
just I don't know. I've never seen anything great from him. I
he
think
has a good. But like my thing is, this is a whole nother episode for another day.
yeah.
And but getting into it a little bit, my thing about Derek Carr, he's a good quarterback, had the weapons, just wasn't the coaching wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, I like Derek a lot, but
He's a good
I didn't
quarterback.
he is. I just didn't want him on the Bucks.
Yeah.
I just
But
didn't.
going out to close this episode because we do actually have less than a minute.
All
Thank you
right.
so much for watching and thank you for coming on. We'll for sure have you on soon.
Absolutely, man.
I'm getting a
Anytime.
mock draft episode out tomorrow actually with a Rams fan. If you
All
want to
right.
be on, just shoot me a text or whatever. But thank you
What
so
time you
much for
guys doing
watching.
that?
I like 7-ish.
All right. All right. All right. I'll
I'll
let you
shoot you
know.
a text. Yeah.
All right,
But
man.
thank you so much for watching.
No problem,
Soon
man.
soon more episodes coming out. Frankie, Leon, and Alex hopefully soon, and Jake also, another Bucks fan. But we got baseball, hockey, basketball, draft, college football, etc. coming. More episodes coming soon. And just wanted to say thank you to the men and women who serve for us, and happy
Absolutely.
Easter.